All right, so what I want to do is I want to show you guys real quick what I carried with me on our entire trip that we just did. We visited 6 countries in Europe. We went to England, France, Monaco, Italy, Switzerland, as well as Germany. Just wanted to show you guys what I had in my bag. So I'll start out real quick by just showing you what I wore on the plane coming back. I just wore a pair of shorts. I had my little jacket here, and I had just a Virginia is for lover shirt. Let me zoom out there a little bit. And then I wore my Donald J. Trump compression socks. These are really a must. These help. There's been a number of stars and stuff that have passed because they've developed embolisms because of, being on a plane for a long period of time. So these are essential to be able to keep the blood flowing. And this is what I basically wore. So give me a second here. And a quick little insert. These are the shoes I wore mostly on the trip. So these are the Pumas. I guess they're the Ferrari series. There's a name for it, but it worked out great. I really love these shoes. They were red. I wore them everywhere. I ended up cleaning them one time during the trip because they got really dirty. But yeah, there you go. Just want to at least show you guys the shoes. And if I smell them right now, they're not that bad because I can smell still a little bit of the Lysol that's inside of there. And this is one other souvenir that I bought. I bought the Swiss Army knife. This will allow me to hang it on my bag and not risk losing it. So I have that hanging right there. Okay, this is my backpack. I got this off of Temu last year, and I think it holds like 40 liters is what it's rated at. It qualifies as a, carry-on size, but this is where I carry the majority of my stuff that I need to access while I'm on the plane. So in here, I have, this is a neck pillow, and it actually wraps around my neck and it holds it up. I did not use that at all. I don't typically use it unless we get stranded someplace. I have some clothes here. Also have some ibuprofen, and this is what's in these pockets here. Tums, I got these in case Booba gets a tummy ache. Didn't use those on the trip at all. The clothes are for fresh breath. I carry business cards with me also too. Didn't hand anything. Actually, I did hand some business cards out, but not from this particular pack. I keep some lip balm, another split up bottle of ibuprofen. I got my keys that I carry with me. Also had, this is the dairy relief stuff, in case you're lactose intolerant. I carry that for Boubet. Got an extra pack here of clothes, and that's everything that was there. And so I use the clothes quite often. It allows you to have fresh breath, and everything else here in these pockets are completely empty. Now on the inside, because this is what I take on the plane, I actually have a pair of like Croc shoes here that I use, when you're on first class or business. It's nice to take your shoes off. And then inside of here, let me open this real quick. I've got an extra extension cord. Use those on the plane. I've got another plug here to charge my phone. Got an extra plug for a little bit more capacity. Use that on the trip. These are expandable. So let me show you that. You can see I use those for sure. This is another plug. I use this typically by the nightstand at night when I go to sleep, charge my phone. I've got another one of these expanding plug. This other one here is just USB C to C. This one here is just USB, and it has the different options there on the end. So, and this is the bag I use to be able to see things quickly. And then going here, I've got, inside of here, I carry 2 monitors with me. And so in here is a plug for the computer, a plug that goes for the power, as well as this is the plug here that plugs into the wall to power the unit. If you have a newer Mac computer or a newer PC that has enough current, you don't need to use that extra plug. But this allows me to travel and have 3 monitors, including the one that's on my laptop, This one here is roughly about a 19-inch, and that's the case for it. So I'll put that there. Carry all this stuff on my back. This is my wallet. And so my wallet now, I used to have a smaller one, but I've recently upgraded to this type because this has my international driver's license. We drove all over Europe. I've got a air tag inside of there, have some cash. And then on the other side, of course, I'm gonna have, in case I lose my wallet, there's a phone number on there you can contact me at. And then let me go ahead and show you guys here real quick. Then on the inside, I always carry credit cards with me, and then I keep a couple of business cards in here also in case I run into somebody. Actually, the airline attendant, she asked for my business card because her future son-in-law is going to be going into accounting. These are some of the slippers off the plane. They don't fit me, but Marilyn likes them, so I brought those for her. And then this is the flagship case that they gave on the plane. I added that to the bag. And so this probably has a toothbrush, toothpaste. I didn't use any of that stuff at all. I carry my, I think it's like a 13-inch MacBook here. It's just a regular type. And then I've had it for years. And then I brought with me, I've got a client I'm doing some tax work for. I wanted to try to see if I can look at it. I didn't get to it. Then I had another folder here that had some miscellaneous items inside of it. And that's pretty much it for what I brought on this trip. And I think inside of here, I've got just a backup of my ID and what else do I have? My ID as well as my passport. In case I lose it, I've at least got a paper copy of it. This is just an empty bag for whatever reason it's in there. So this is everything that I carried on my back. And then this bag turns into, all the stuff tucks away. You can zip it up. You can turn it into a hand carry tote. And then usually on it, I have my executive platinum status. I've got a couple extra carabiners here. These come in handy. You never know. I can just reach and grab them. I've got a ID tag for my bag. And this is also Wander Club. These are all the tokens for all the countries that I've collected, that I've gone to. I think it's 27 or 28 now that I've been on 5 continents. So that stuff is all there. And then this is the last thing that I carry on my back. This is the rest of my home office that is portable. So inside of here, I've tried to downsize stuff as much as possible size-wise. But you can see this is my computer keyboard. It folds open. And inside of here, I've got a Mac. This thing works on any surface, whether you've got like a glass table or a desktop or probably even on carpet or whatever. Works on all sorts of surfaces. I have a lift for my PC. That way I can have a little bit better viewing. This is a wrist pad for the mouse. This is international power cord. This is one of those power adapter things that allows you to, just disperse your power. It's got, 3 typical plugs on top, plus it has, USB on the side, just a traditional type. And then I have the cord here that I use, and I usually put an adapter on it to adapt to whatever power I travel with. This powers my laptop. It also has an extra USB-C. This is the stand for my phone. Got a couple more of these plugs here that I showed you guys earlier. And, this is the plug for the PC. And then this is another plug here for the phone. I got a few extra backups in case something happens once it dies. But for the most part, I use almost all of the stuff that I have here at some point during the trip. And like I said, I rarely ever use this in case I get stranded in the airport and I'm sitting in the chair. I can sit up and keep my neck without falling over. But pretty much everything else here is used when I'm on a trip. So I'll switch over in a second to what I have here in my carry-on. Just give me a minute. All right, I wanted to say also too, I just put all this stuff in an IKEA bag to make it easy for me to carry upstairs. But this weighs about 35 pounds or so. That's what I carry on my back. All right, let me show you guys here. This is my carry-on. Every once in a while, I will check it. I try not to because the airlines have a tendency to, destroy luggage over time the more you travel. But this is Soul Guard, I think is how you pronounce it. It's a hard shell case, and it's not expandable. And the nice thing is about these bags here is that you can't just stick like a pen in them to get inside to the content. You got to really break them in order to damage it. But this is all the stuff that I carry on the plane that I typically will need or have access to, or something happened, went down. A lot of it's tied towards electronics for me being able to work, etc. But this is all the stuff that I typically don't want to check underneath the plane and risk losing it, because ultimately it's going to kill my production. So I always carry a couple extra extension cords. I use this one for sure this time, once or twice. This is also another extension cord that I use as well. And then dude wipes, I brought them with me. I did not use them, but I just want to be safe and sorry. And then this is the plug here for my other, what are these things called? They're not power adapters, but you guys know what they're called here. This allows me to utilize items that are on 110 or 120 US and plug them into 220, 240 internationally. And so it has 3 basic plugs. It can pretty much power everything. And then also on the side, it's going to have the USB-C as well as a typical USB adapter. And this is the plug for it right there. This is the plug I typically used in Europe. In some of the places, especially in the UK, I use that. So that's there. This is the plug for charging my phone. Use that. And then this is my selfie stick that I have and I use. And so this goes with me everywhere. There's an attachment for the top to be able to hold my phone on there. And then I have 2 razors, and these are battery powered, and I charge them up. That way I don't have to worry about trying to run them off of like 220 that's converted and have like a sine wave problem. And so my wife, she fades my hair for me whenever I need to have it done. But these are just, this is a 0 gap razor I use on my face. And then for tighten up fades, I've got toothbrush to keep the thing clean. And then this is just an adjustable, larger millimeter razor that I use to trim my, mustache, that type of stuff that I'm not trying to take down to 0. Then in here, I have everything that she needs to cut my hair. I've got an afro pick. I've got a small little comb here that she uses on my beard. Then also another comb here, for fading the sides if need to. These are the charging plugs. This is a little bit of oil. I've got a brush to clean the clippers or brush my hair for the haircuts. And then of course I'm gonna have in here the various attachments that you can use. So that, and I never, ever check my clippers underneath the plane. In the past, I don't know what happens, but I've checked clippers underneath the plane, and then they always end up getting damaged somehow. I don't know what it is with the air pressure, and they just never align and work again. So I always carry those on board with me. This is a universal adapter for multiple, plugs, as you travel. This pretty much has everything you need. Plus it has the different options on top. Then it's got the USB-C there on the bottom. Then this is my I carry this with me because you never know. But inside of here are all the various plug adapters that you're going to find. This is the US. There's different ones that you're going to find here for different parts of the world. So I take those with me. So no matter what happens, I've got what I need to be able to plug in. You can see the different options. They're all there. So that's taken care of. That's included in the bag, and I have a little carrying thing for it. And then right here, let me put this over here real quick. Let me unzip this. I carry with me these glasses. When I used to do retail, I probably paid like $2 for these. These are like my favorite glasses. I've had these for 5 years. The silver in them matches the silver in my beard and my face, facial hair as well as my hair. So it just kind of looks really cool. I carry a pair, and then I always have a backup pair of glasses that I take with me also in case, for whatever reason, they get broken. I have an extra pair, and I don't have to try to go out and buy another pair. I also am pretty big on oral health, so I use a water pick here. You can see this one also allows me to, I had one that you plugged in, but I switched over now to one that you can charge in advance. That way I don't have to deal with current curve version issues when you plug these things in. A lot of times the sine wave just messes with the motor. It's very difficult to be able to use them even though you're converting them down. So I got that. This is what I use to charge it. Then of course, this is the thing on top. Then I have a couple extra backups in here also as well, and that's the carrying case. Got all that stuff at Costco. And then let me put this here. Okay. I use packing cubes. And so typically I bring, this is the first time ever that I actually had another mid-sized suitcase. And so when we were getting ready to leave 30 minutes out, I was like, baby, how many suitcases you bringing? She's like, 1. At that point I had 2. I had a medium size as well as the large one right there. And so I was like, well, how do you think we're going to be able to? She said, I'm going to be washing clothes. I said, okay. So I went ahead and eliminated everything from that extra suitcase. Then just ultimately ended up just bringing about 5 sets of underwear. And she said, we can wash this as we go along. We'll also be able to stop at people's house and we'll be able to wash laundry there as well. So these are the clothes that I'm bringing back, and they're pretty much all clean. So this is the t-shirt, undershirt, then a pair of underpants. We got some socks that are here. Socks, more underwear. These are all clean. These are my AndreReese.Biz shirts. And then of course you got, I wore a suit when we went to go to stay in the Royal Box for the show. So I brought a nice pair of socks, only used those once. So these things all got used multiple times. They got washed. And washing clothes in the bathtub or in the sink, and then hanging them up in the room, turning the AC down as low as possible, then leaving all day. That worked for me being able to wash my clothes and still have them smell decent. So that worked out great. Of course, socks. So this wouldn't fit in the other suitcase, so that's why they're here. The inside of here, let me open this up. This is one of the flagship bags that I got from, and there's not really an easy way to make this video fast going through everything. I want to just undo everything live. So I've used all these things. These are more plugs. You never know when you might need them. And this is the other part of my selfie stick that I can screw on and use to take videos, etc. And then let's go on to the other side real quick. I always bring a water bottle with me. And when you travel through Europe, ice is a premium. So it's nice to be able to collect ice along the way and keep it in there and then add water to it and then at least have some cold water. So I brought that with me. And then this I keep usually inside of my backpack or here. This is an extra set of clothing. So this is underwear, t-shirt underneath, socks, as well as an AndreReese.Biz shirt. So if we get stranded in the airport, I at least have access to change my clothes. My shorts don't generally get soiled too bad, but anything up on top where I get really hot or sweaty, this gives me an opportunity. And this has been learned out of getting stranded at the airport when they had the cyber meltdown. And I was like, man, I was so hot and funky. So a lot of these things I've added just from issues along the way. We crashed out in the lounge, but I still needed some clothes. And then I always bring, this is a scale. When you fly international, you get 70 pounds, locals, domestic, but I have status with American, so they give me 70 pounds. I don't really have to trip too much, but that's nice to have the scale just to be sure if you need to shift some stuff around. And then this is another one of those see-through packs, and then it allows me to see what's inside. This is a mount for a phone. I haven't used this. You can use this to mount your phone to the seat on the airline. I may stop carrying that. This is an extra long USB-C cord and adapter. I didn't use either one of those. And then these are those blockers if you're using USB in the airport. That allows, it only makes it one way so they can't steal your data. And then these are in here. These are what I use to take a bath with. And so these are exfoliating hand mitts. And so I just need to wash those up, but I have 2 that I use. Then in here, maybe don't need to take it out. Oh, actually, I'll just go do it real quick. Dump these out right here. So I did use that for sure. This here is the plug that you can use when it comes to getting, converting the seat entertainment to Wi-Fi. It works great with your Apple headphones. So that's Bluetooth, that's a whole thing. This is an extra USB adapter just in case. I've got another plug here. that's direct USB-C to Apple. I didn't use either one of that. These are some extra plugs here. Didn't use these either, but I have them. It helps out with hooking up my monitor. And then a pen I think I got along the way. Actually, that's from American Express. Didn't use that. And then inside of here, I didn't use any of these, but I have them just in case. And like I said, I use the mesh bag so I can easily see. I've got cough drops in here in case I start coughing really bad. I think I also have in here somewhere, I think in the middle, it's going to be those powerful Sudafed things. So if you get stuffed up on the plane, it allows you to get that undone. These are Altoids. Didn't use those either. An extra pen. I always stick receipts. Business purposes, stuff gets to be written off. So that's inside of here. Empty mesh bag. So we're getting down to the last of the things. And let me open this up for you real quick here. This is my survival kit. And this has, so like I said, I got stranded before in the airport in Charlotte because they had the global breakdown, and it was just crazy. I couldn't get clean. I needed to poop, and I didn't want to do that. So inside of here, I have a survival kit. I've got toilet wipes to wipe down the toilet. And if you're traveling and you get constipated, the stuff stays in your body a little bit longer than it needs to. It gets really stinky. So if you go into some of these, spots where you can, do your business, and there's no ventilation, this helps clear the air for the next person, which is great. And then inside of here, like I said, this is my survival kit. I've got alcohol, so if I need to put it on a paper towel and wipe under my arms and legs or wherever, that odor zones, that helps kill it. I've got a mask just in case. I've got an eye thing to cover my eyes up so it can make things dark. And inside of here, I've got a few extra items. This is mouthwash. I think these are the pills I was telling you about. I'm not sure what these are. I don't remember what they are, but those might be the ones that are for the Sudafed. Got another eye thing there to block out the light. And these are things I've gotten from just kits from flying first class. TheraFace. I didn't use any of this stuff at all. I've got a plastic bag just in case. Earplugs. I've got a couple of gloves. You never know. And then, like I said, this is all like worst case scenario. Soft tissue. That way I need to get myself clean or something happens. I've got all the basic stuff to be able to get out of that disaster and keep going and travel another day. Then I have a full-size stick of deodorant. I had a smaller one, but I've used it all up. But I never got a chance to get bigger ones. These are dude wipes. You guys know what those are for booty health, sanitizing wipe. This is just in case things go bad. You got some needle and thread, Q-tips, more Q-tips there. And then I got a toothbrush. So let's see here. This pops open. This allows you to brush your teeth, which is great. And then I've got toothpaste in there also as well. More dude wipes. So everything that I need in here to survive, if I get stranded, is here. I even got a little small bar of soap, more dude wipes, and I've got, some clippers. Because sometimes you can see I've broken some of my nails. This allows me to cut them and not have to deal with stuff. And so this is my survival kit. And the other two things I have is I've got this bidet, and I'm serious about, booty health and booty cleaning, and so when I travel, most places don't have bidets. This is a portable one, which is cool. You can put water in here, then you can take and screw this here on top. This flips open. It's got 2 speeds that you can use. You can make sure you get your booty health taken care of. And then oftentimes that's not enough water. So this also is a secondary water bottle that screws onto the top. And what I usually will do is, because I'll tell you, it's very difficult for me to go to the bathroom except in a place where I'm comfortable. And it's because of travel, I've gotten used to it now and having to do it. But this allows me to be able to go in public and get done what I need to have done, and be able to be successful and still be hygienic and sanitary. So that's what I have this here. So this allows, I've used, this is the first time I had this one. I used it on this trip. It worked great. And so I've used it every day. And then you can take and get a little more capacity. I didn't start using this until the end of the trip. You can fill the water bottle up, you can screw it on, you've got plenty of water to be able to do what you need to do. And so the other thing that I travel with, and people find this to be very odd, but it's essential to me. I want to be able to make sure I can duplicate what I have at home. And so I can only take a shower with the shower head that allows me to wash all over my body, and then have different, super jets, to light spray or whatever. You get the point, to be able to get everything on my body clean. This is the only way that I can get it done. And a lot of times when you go, especially in the US, the shower quality is horrible. You just have a shower head on the top. I can't be on the road for weeks and not ever get a proper shower. So I bring my own shower head with me, and I mount it. And then if the room is super dry, I can run the bathtub and fill it up with water and put that stopper down. That way it'll increase the humidity. This is just a towel that I use to keep the stuff dry and then absorb moisture and stuff. So I bring that with me. But the last time when I was traveling, coming back from New York, I had it in my bag, and the lady was like, I got flagged because I had a big pair of pliers in there, plumbers, and she just couldn't understand why I had a shower head. And so I explained to her, but she said I needed to put the shower head underneath the plane because it was the actual wrench, because it was too long. But they ended up confiscating it because there's no way I can do that. But now I've got that there in the other suitcase. It goes underneath the plane. And then I also bring a bunch of Ziploc bags with me, different sizes, in case I need to bag something up, or I've got wet stuff, whatever it might be. Then this here is just a backup belt. I didn't use any of these. I've used some of those during the trip. I didn't use the shower head. I haven't used the belt, but it's there in case I make a mistake and lose it or whatever. I can at least keep my pants up. So I'll do the last one here, and I'll show you guys the Big Daddy. So just give me a second. Okay, so this is the last one here. This is the Soul, I don't know how to pronounce that, Soul Guard trunk. This is the largest one that they make that's available, and I always keep and actually, just real quick, the suitcase there, the roll-on, it was probably like 30 pounds. This one here is 68 pounds, I think is what it was. 70 was the limit. And it's full, it's heavy. And then inside, actually on the outside, I always put the strap just in case, so it doesn't pop open while it's going through the belt system. So that's the first thing I do. I carry that with me. Then let me just open this up real quick and lay it down. So here we go. All right, okay. And then everything is unlocked. So here we go. This is the last bit of stuff that I brought with me, and I'll go through this with you guys real quick. So in here is the stuff that all went on the plane. It's not critical that if something happened, it's not going to end my trip. If this stuff got lost, I can easily replace it. And so inside of here, I had brought a pair of shorts, used those multiple times. These are all clean. Everything that's here. These pants here, another pair of shorts are clean. We had Virginia is for Lover t-shirts that we had. I didn't use that. I think we're going to give it to somebody, but it's unused. I brought swim shirt, to go in the water. I also have swim trunks in here as well. So I'm not the kind of guy that walks around bare-chested. This is one of my Andre Reese shirts. Use that. And then this is in case we had a slightly formal event, I brought a shirt with some kente on it. We used that one time. Don't remember what it was that we did. And then we had the Virginia's for Lovers shirts that we wore when we went to a new location or a new, specifically country. We would put these on and take pictures together. So this is clean, but that is the Virginia's for Lovers shirt right there. I had 2 or 3 that I brought with me all together. This is my, just in case things got really cold, I can throw this on. This is my AndreReese.Biz branded shirt. Didn't use that at all. And then, of course, another AndreReese.Biz shirt. Used that, of course, the packing cube. And then Lysol. I was wearing the same pair of shoes for like 30 days. And so every day I sprayed them down with Lysol just to keep them fresh. Towards the end of the trip, that didn't make a difference as much, but I'm glad I had it. And I brought another pack of dude wipes. I didn't know what the situation was going to be in Europe with the toilets and stuff. So I didn't necessarily need that, but I brought it, so I had 2 packs. This is a poncho in case it rains. I got that, didn't use it. Got an umbrella. There was one day we did have some rain, so we did use the umbrella. That worked out great. And then this is the wrench I was telling you about. This is a vice grip to be able to take off the shower head that's existing and replace it with mine. Didn't use it, like I said, this time. And then this here is a blanket. So I probably don't need to bring this with me anymore, but I have it just in case. And so if we're traveling and we're on the plane and it gets cold, I can use this to keep myself warm, but I didn't use it at all. So that was unnecessary. And then digging down in here, there's some miscellaneous receipts and paperwork from the travel. So I'll just take all that stuff out. And then the one thing I have is I have this screw together. I have one of these in the shower that we have here. But this screws together. This is either, you can make it just a short handle brush if you want to, or you can make it into a back brush just by combining all 3 pieces. Use that all the time. That was necessary. In here, in case we went swimming, I have my snorkel and my mask. I'm not very buoyant, but if I have one of these, I can swim, across the ocean with no problem. So I brought that with me. We didn't use it, but we did go swimming one time. And then what else do we have here? I'll take this stuff out. In order to keep from getting constipated, I usually eat probiotics. Then if you see on the bottom down there, you can see the colored ones. I was almost out of them, but I use fiber gummies. I had a couple bottles of those. I take, 5 or 6 a day. Those all got used. And then this is a half-used pack of dude wipes. I brought that with me. Didn't need it at all. I brought my workout gloves in case we worked out, which didn't happen, but I did use them when we were riding segways. So that got used. I always take those with me. Oh, here we go. I had lost my battery and I found it. So there's my battery. I shouldn't have been under the plane, but here we go. But I'm glad I found it. I thought I had left it in Geneva. But this is a 20,000 milliamp hour battery, so it'll charge up a lot of different things. I think it has an output of like 44 watts. So it'll push out a lot of juice. And then if we ever need to iron, I've got a water bottle here. I always bring those with me. I didn't use it on this trip at all. Didn't end up ironing anything at all, but it always comes with me. It just makes it easy to spray something and hit it with a hot iron. You're good to go. And then what else we got here? So these are more receipts, miscellaneous items. We'll take that out. And so I typically, and I even also keep business cards in all of my suitcases as well. So that stuff is all there. Take that stuff out, put it aside. I usually do apple cider vinegar routine. That's what's inside of here. I didn't do it while I was on the trip. So I meant to keep the routine up, but I didn't. But here we are. So I always bring that with me. It's ready to go. And then I had jewelry that I wore on the trip. And so that's what this is here. So we had our reception in London. This was the jewelry that I used with my outfit, which was pretty cool. So you can see that stuff there. Had it in a separate bag. And then I got into a suit because we ended up going to the Royal Prince Albert Hall. This is my tie, my little pocket handkerchief, and that's my belt. So that was all there. I used this once exactly. Then I had my shoes that I brought just in case we were going to do a better event and I needed to have some better shoes than what my red tennis shoes were. But I had those. I used these one time. Actually, no, I used these specifically for the reception. I didn't want to wear the other pair of shoes I have here that I brought. And I would typically never bring I actually had to buy these shiny shoes for the, let me open it up here. Give me a second. I know it's kind of trippy. All right, so I bought these Clark shoes on Amazon. They were on sale, size 14, along with a shoehorn. But I used these shoes when I had my 3-piece suit when I went to Prince Albert Hall, the Royal Box. That's the other one there. And that's the other shoe bag. And then, so I typically don't buy souvenirs. I bought 3, actually probably 4, or maybe Yeah, probably 4. I'll show you on the other side. I brought this multifaceted, almost like a Swiss Army knife, but it's not. It's made in Switzerland. And it was at the Stanzenhorn Gondola and Mountain. So this is pretty cool. I bought that as a souvenir. I also bought a Swiss Army knife there at the Stanzenhorn as well. I wanted to have a souvenir. I just was so motivated by the Swiss engineering. I said, let me break camp. But we ended up going to the actual outlet, and I ended up buying this Swiss Army knife there and got it engraved with the company's name, AndreReese.Biz. And so this will definitely go in the company's display and trophy case. And then, like I said, when we were there, we washed clothes. So we had extra hangers that I brought to be able to hang things up in the room. We use those all the time. More of those right there. Then I had a second smaller bag that I carried with me as we were out and about. And so so this would have whatever stuff I needed, keys, not so much keys, but my wallet, passport, different things that I needed when we're out exploring, my glasses or whatever. I carried all that inside this bag. And then of course it's branded there with the tag. And then, the last couple things here, this was my suit that I wore. Oops, I don't want to mess that up there. This is my 3-piece suit that I wore for Prince Albert Hall. And then also inside of here as well is my Ghana suit that I wore for the reception. So these are the 2 formal outfits that I had. I only used them one time. That was enough. We ended up buying some of this stuff here in Lyon. What is this stuff? Limoncello. We bought a large bottle. This is a larger bottle. Really nice. Enjoyed that. And then when we were in London, these are more receipts and stuff like that. They had this spot we went to. I forget what the name of it was. Cyberdog, I think it is. They had a bunch of rave stuff. It changed my life. It was really, really cool. We hung out there. These lights will listen to this ambient sound, and then they will fluctuate just like an equalizer. Then this is a larger version of the same thing. I would love to get a second one, but this is the last one that they had left. So that's everything. This is all the stuff that I used. And like I said, I think Boubé got me those. I bought this one, and I bought the knife. So I bought 4 souvenirs. Oh, and then let me go here real quick. This is the last of it. So these are the clothes that are dirty. I always bring a bag with me for my dirty clothes. These didn't get washed. That's a pair of shorts. I had a pair of 2 athletic shorts. These are, just t-shirts. Oh, actually the t-shirt, got socks that were here that didn't get washed. Underpants. So then one of the Virginia's for Lovers shirts that I used. This is the shorts. They got used. I just kept the belt on it, but I did use those several times. More underwear, more socks, t-shirts, and then AndreReese.Biz shirts. That's there. And then the last thing, another pair of socks. And the last thing we got here, this is all my toiletries. So I bring this with me. This goes underneath the plane every single time. I don't think there's anything in here. Nope, not at all. Don't use those pockets. Boubé got me this, I think last year, maybe for Christmas or something like that. But it has all the other stuff that goes underneath the plane. And so I've got, just in case, I've got another pack of toilet wipes, for sanitizing the toilet. I was going to use cologne a lot, so I have a smaller thing that I can bring for shorter trips. But I just brought the whole bottle of cologne. Marilyn got me that. Deodorant, and then this was just shower gel. Most of the time when we went, we had gel in the shower for when we stayed with people or in the hotel. I think a couple hotels didn't have it. Extra alcohol for cleaning myself if need be. This here is to charge up my toothbrush. And then I always have soap that I bring with me to keep my butt clean. So if even though it's green, you don't want to touch it, don't want to play with it, leave it alone. But I keep that there. And then this is a bar of soap that we got from one of Marilyn's friends, so I'm going to keep that. Then I also have in here is just a kit for cutting my nails and stuff. So that goes underneath the plane for sure. Then we also have coconut oil for moisturization. This here, I think is, I forget, but it's probably conditioner. Then I have Vaseline, and then I also have this two stuff. I didn't use this at all, and I didn't use either one of those, but they're there. Then the final bit of stuff here, we've got these turmeric tablets. I took those. It helps swelling and inflammation, keep things down. Charcoal toothpaste, use that all the time. This was for my hair to keep it looking as messy as it was. It's just leave-in hair conditioner. I use that stuff all the time. These are also necessary when it comes to a shower. This allows me to, Maryland has one also too. It allows me to put it on the glass, and I can hang up my stuff in the shower, like my brush to clean my back, or also my hand mittens so that way they don't get funky. Bring that with me. More alcohol here. Q-tips. I've got this little thing here. I found this at some point, I think, in the trash, but I was like, put Q-tips in it. And then I always bring spray to spray the bathroom. I call this stuff Peacekeeper. So if you, for whatever reason, hotels don't have, the fans in them that exhaust, the poop smell. And so this helps cut things down. That way you can still be in love with your partner. So this one's almost empty. This one's getting close. And then I've got some ointment. I got like a bad bug sting toothpaste. This is lotion. Some of those things are just gotten from, this is conditioner here. So some of these things I've gotten from just the hotel. This was also another hotel body lotion. Vaseline, didn't use that. And so, didn't use that. And then we brought with us some bug spray. This thing was full. It's kind of indented in now because of the use, but we use that a lot. And then some more lotion. And then I've got body spray that I can use like underneath my stomach or my legs or whatever. Didn't use that at all. And so that's everything that I took here on the trip to Europe. And then in another segment, I will add on a second. I'll show you guys my CPAP machine. But this is everything that I took to Europe. I think most of the things I have here that I showed you guys, I could have used. What would I do differently as opposed to on the next trip? I would try to see if I can streamline myself down. And so I have a unique situation. I work from anywhere in the world, so a lot of stuff that I carry with me allows me to be able to support myself and be able to work internationally. So a lot of electronics and things that you guys see, you got to count those things out because you probably won't need those, but I do. But in this particular case here, I think I typically wouldn't have a suit with me, so that would have saved some space. But overall, I think I brought about what I needed, and I used almost everything. Some of the bigger things that didn't get used are okay, like the shower head and all that. I want to have that with me regardless. But overall, I think I had everything I needed, and it all worked out. So I have no issues or problems with what I bought. But like I said, I would try to streamline down a little bit more and maybe see if I can go from the larger suitcase down to the medium size on like the next trip to be able to get around a little bit easier. But like I said, hang on. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into my CPAP, and that'll pretty much summarize everything that's happened with this video and the purpose of it, just to let you guys see what I took with me on a 3.5 week adventure, roughly about 27 days, traveling Europe and hitting up 6 different countries. And this is what it took to make all that happen. So stay tuned real quick, and I'll give you a rundown of the CPAP machine. Okay, so just a quick add-on. Forgot to show you guys that's inside of this main, pouch that I have that keeps all of my toiletries. This was, I showed you earlier, this is like Imodium, for diarrhea relief. And for constipation, I got these things here. These things work great. Used them in Thailand when I was exactly 12 hours opposite of what we were here. My system was just all out of whack. I was not jet lagged, but my system was just tripping. So this allows you to do your business and makes it happen reasonably and controllably. So that's it. Okay, so I'm shooting this out of sequence here, but I just want to talk about my CPAP and what I brought with me. So I brought my CPAP, and I'll tell you guys, if you have been diagnosed with sleep apnea or if you've had the treatment, you want to stay on top of it just to make sure that you treat it. Because if you don't treat it and be able to get proper rest, it can easily take 10 to 15 years, and even in some cases at 20 years off of your life. So you definitely want to use it. So I have no problem taking my CPAP. So with my CPAP, this is a carry-on. It's free, and it doesn't count against your allowance at all because it's a medical device. And so everything I have is carried within this. So the main unit breaks down. I put the unit there. I've got the tank there, and then usually the mask, and then all the cabling, the tubing that runs the air from the machine. I usually put the charger inside of here. And then, let me show you guys here this real quick. Put this down for half a second. Okay, and so inside of here, this is what's in here. I've got a battery, just in case the power ever goes out. When I went to Ghana, we had a power outage in one of the locations we were in, and this saved me to be able to power my unit. But I bought this off of Amazon. It comes with all the cables and cords that are necessary to be able to make this compatible with most units, but this is the plug that works with my machine here. So that's included. A lot of times what I'll do is when I'm going through security, I'll dump off my passport and other items from my pockets in here, but this is my passport. And within my passport itself, I'm gonna also have in here other ID that's necessary, and then I have all that good stuff there. This is the passport carrier. And I also, inside of this, I have it's hidden in here, but it's easy to find. I have a air tag, so you can see right here. So that way, if I ever leave it behind, it makes it easy for me to reunite with it. Because if you lose your passport while you're traveling, you're done. These are some miscellaneous travel receipts. I've got a Ziploc bag, and why would I have that? When we go to the lounge, a lot of times they have some delicious snacks. I'll sometimes grab those and bag them up. These are a couple extra clips for my mask. Then this is the charger for the battery. I usually roll and leave out of here with it charged up just in case, especially on the plane, you never know. Then I've got a couple of these, you can't call them zip ties, but they're hook and loop adapters just in case. I've got an extra cap just in case I lose one. This is from the receipts and stuff here. But that's what you have here. Then I also are going to have my regular sleep cap. This is silk lined. And this is really necessary because when you wear your sleep apnea gear, I wear a full headset and a full face, so it covers my nose and my mouth. A lot of times these straps will wear against your hair. I was noticing I was getting bald spots and hair breaking off, so I use that. But this is the machine that I have, just a rescue med. It's auto sensor, so it automatically determines where things are and then adjusts accordingly. And it has a tank. I put a little bit of water inside of there. People say you should use distilled. Then you're going to have the machine along with the cabling for the power that goes to the wall. And so that's the CPAP portion of what I brought with me to Europe.